If you haven't watched part 1, 2, and part 3 yet, please go back and watch it first. Otherwise you won't understand anything in this part. Trust me, it's important. Rosa Alvarez, a hard-working maid at the towering Silverline Corporation, was hiding a secret in the janitor's closet. Her young son Nico, when the aloof CEO Leonardo Vance accidentally discovered the child, he froze. Because Nico bore the same rare birthmark as Leonardo's supposedly dead son, Elijah. Leonardo, grieving and guilt-ridden from losing his wife Clarissa and child in a tragic car crash, began to believe the impossible, that Nico might be his son. But Rosa resisted. She had protected Nico for years, and her trust had long since eroded. Then came the photo, and the threat. You can't hide the truth forever. Leonardo found a letter from Clarissa that implied Nico wasn't Rosa's son, and might have been theirs. But the truth only grew murkier. A woman from Rosa's past emerged, exposing a possible child switch at St. Helena's Hospital. Then a video surfaced, Clarissa confessing to stealing a dying baby to raise as her own, while warning that others were watching dangerous people. Now, with the truth unraveling fast, Leonardo and Rosa prepared to go to the hospital archives to verify everything. But just as they stepped out, Leonardo received a chilling message. Don't go to St. Helena's, there's a fire. It's already begun. If you haven't watched the previous parts, go watch them first. Otherwise you will not understand anything in this part. The car ride was silent. Leonardo drove like a man in a trance, his fingers clenched tight around the steering wheel. Rosa sat beside him, one hand gripping the strap of her worn purse, the other pressed to her lips, as if to keep herself from screaming. Outside, smoke twisted into the night sky, faint but undeniable. The closer they got to the hospital, the clearer it became. The glow on the horizon wasn't a trick of the light. It was real. St. Helena's was burning. By the time they turned onto Harbor Avenue, the smell hit them. Thick, acrid, unnatural. A plume of smoke billowed above the hospital's west wing. Fire trucks had already arrived. Red and blue lights flashed across the street like some grotesque carnival. Rosa's breath caught in her throat. The archives, they're in the west wing. Leonardo didn't respond. His eyes were locked on the building, like he was watching a piece of his soul go up in flames. He pulled the car over. Wait here. No, Rosa said firmly. We finished this together. Remember? He looked at her, really looked, and something passed between them. Not love, not yet, but understanding, maybe even trust. They got out. Firefighters moved in, practiced chaos. A police officer barked orders near the barricades. But Leonardo didn't stop. He flashed his badge, the kind that came with corporate billions, and pushed through. Rosa followed closely, her heart pounding in her chest. Inside, the hospital was a shell of what she remembered. The lobby was smoky but intact. Nurses were evacuating patients down stairwells. Sprinklers had already soaked the tiles. But the real damage was up ahead, where they needed to go. The West Archive wing. The old records section was engulfed. Leonardo turned to a fire captain. Is it safe to enter? Absolutely not, the man said, wiping soot from his brow. That part of the building's been gutted. Paper records, cardboard boxes, no digital backups. You're lucky we got people out before the ceiling caved. Rosa's knees buckled. So it's gone. All of it? The man nodded grimly. Whatever was stored in there, history, files, charts, it's all ash now. Leonardo didn't speak. He didn't need to. Rosa felt her stomach twist. A part of her had hoped, had truly hoped, that once they found the truth, the nightmare would end. But now the truth had gone up in flames, and someone had made sure of it. Someone who knew exactly where to strike. And just as Rosa was turning to leave, she saw her, across the room, by the stairwell. The woman from the alley, same cropped hair, same sharp jaw. But this time, she wasn't hiding in shadows. She was talking to someone. A man, tall, broad shoulders, wearing a navy suit with an earpiece. Leonardo noticed too. Do you know him? Rosa shook her head. No, but I know her. The woman turned slightly, just enough for Rosa to see the fear in her eyes. Then she nodded, ever so slightly, as if to say get out, now. But before Rosa could react, The man turned and looked straight at them, and smiled. Not warmly, not politely. No, it was a smile without kindness. The kind of smile you see in courtrooms or boardrooms, right before someone destroys you with a signature. Leonardo stepped in front of Rosa instinctively. We're leaving. But we're done here. They turned back, walked quickly to the car, got in. As they pulled away, Rosa glanced in the rearview mirror. The man was still standing there, watching, smiling, like a wolf waiting for the door to open. Back at Leonardo's penthouse, the silence returned. Nico was asleep upstairs, unaware of the storm brewing beneath his world. Rosa sat on the edge of the couch, fingers trembling as she replayed the video of Clarissa again. Every word, every pause. She stopped at the frame where Clarissa warned them. If you dig, they will come for you. Leonardo stood near the fireplace, arms crossed, staring into nothing. I don't understand, he said softly. If Clarissa took a dying baby and altered the records, who was the other child? The girl she mentioned. Rosa blinked. I don't know, she said. The mother never came back for her. Leonardo turned to her. But what if someone else did? What if that baby was the real Vance heir? The room went still. I thought Nico was the child from that night. Rosa whispered. So did I, he said. But if Clarissa switched a girl for a boy, or took the wrong child, then what if we're still chasing the wrong truth? Rosa covered her mouth. Then who is Nico? Leonardo's jaw tightened. We need DNA, but not from him, from the source. Rosa looked up. Clarissa's family. No, he said. The doctor who handled her prenatal care. If we can find out she was never pregnant, we'll know once and for all. But she faked everything. The records were altered. Leonardo's eyes darkened. Then we find someone who was there, someone who can't be bribed, someone who remembers that night. Rosa didn't say it, but she was thinking the same thing. The woman from the alley, the only living witness left. But would she talk again? Would she even survive long enough to? Before they could speak again, Rosa's phone buzzed. Unknown number. A single message. It's not just your son who's in danger. The girl is alive. And she's looking for you. Rosa dropped the phone. Because she remembered now. She remembered that girl. And she remembered why she had buried that night so deeply. The phone lay face down on the hardwood floor, buzzing once more before falling silent. But Rosa didn't move to pick it up. Her fingers hovered mid-air, as if reaching into a memory. Something dusty. Something locked away for so long it had warped into shadow. Leonardo approached slowly. Rosa, but she didn't answer him. Her eyes were wide, her breathing shallow, and then, in a whisper barely louder than the ticking of the antique clock on the wall, she said, she wasn't supposed to survive. Leonardo's brows furrowed. What do you mean? Rosa stood, hands trembling. There was a night, at St. Helena said, before Nico, before Clarissa's video, before the fire. I wasn't a maid then. I was just a scared girl cleaning floors, hoping no one would notice me. She looked at Leonardo, tears filling her eyes. But I saw something I was never meant to see. He didn't rush her, he didn't speak, he simply waited. The way you wait for a fragile truth to land. I was assigned to the maternity wing. Rosa continued. Night shift. I mopped quietly, kept my head down. But one night, I heard crying in one of the locked rooms. It wasn't a baby, it was a child. Older, maybe 4, maybe 5. Leonardo blinked. In the maternity wing. She nodded slowly. I thought I was imagining it. But then I peeked through the window. There was a girl inside. Pale, thin, hooked to machines. But she wasn't unconscious, she was awake, watching the door, like she knew someone was coming for her. Leonardo's voice dropped. What happened? A nurse caught me, yanked me away, told me if I said a word, I'd lose my job. She said it was an infectious case, quarantine. But she was lying. Rosa's lips quivered, because the next night, the room was empty. No monitors, no girl. He stepped closer, and you never saw her again. I didn't think I did, Rosa whispered. Until today. Leonardo's voice was barely audible. You think the woman at the hospital, she had the same eyes. Rosa's knees buckled, and she sank back onto the couch, empty, but sharp, Like she remembered me too. Leonardo sat beside her, his mind whirring. If that girl survived, and Clarissa knew about it, then this isn't just about Nico anymore. It's about both children. Rosa looked up, her eyes haunted. Then why lie? Why burn the records? Why erase it all? He shook his head slowly. Because someone's protecting a secret, a deep one. And it's not just about lineage. It's about power, legacy, inheritance, maybe even blood. The words hung between them, heavy as iron. Then Rosa's phone buzzed again. Another message. This time, she remembers you, Rosa. She said you sang to her, in the dark, before they took her away. Rosa's hand flew to her mouth. I did sing to her, just once, a lullaby. She was crying. I didn't know what else to do. Leonardo's voice was dry. Then she's not just watching you, she's remembering you, which means she's not here to hurt you, but someone else is, Rosa whispered, and they're using her as bait. Leonardo rose. We need to find her. Before they do, just then, Nico's soft cry echoed from upstairs. Rosa jolted. Leonardo moved first. I'll check on him. But when he reached the bedroom, Nico wasn't in bed. The covers were folded, the stuffed elephant on the floor, and the window, slightly ajar. Rosa, he shouted. He's gone. She ran up the stairs 2 at a time, panic coursing through her veins like lightning. What do you mean he's gone? Leonardo didn't respond, because taped to the glass, where the wind flapped the curtain gently, was a single note, written in block letters. Want the truth, bring her. Alone, midnight, Pier 47. Rosa's knees buckled. She gripped the windowsill, struggling to breathe. Leonardo caught her before she collapsed. We'll get him back, he said. I promise. But Rosa's heart had dropped to her stomach, because she knew who her meant. Not her Rosa, her. The girl, the one with the eyes, the one from the locked hospital room, the one who had once listened to her lullaby in the dark. And if they were demanding her now, it meant she wasn't hiding anymore. She was hunting. Midnight came like a thunderclap. Pier 47 was abandoned. The old warehouses looming like forgotten giants. Salt clung to the air. A heavy fog rolled across the docks, swallowing the yellow glow of the lamplights. Rosa stepped out of the car alone, her coat wrapped tightly around her. Her heart pounded so loudly, she couldn't hear her own footsteps. But Leonardo hadn't listened. He was there too, watching from a black SUV across the lot, hidden, waiting. A figure emerged from the shadows, not the man in the navy suit, not the wolf from before, but the girl. No, the woman. Late 20s now, thin, pale, hair cropped to her jaw, and eyes the color of storms. Rosa froze. Do you remember me? The girl asked softly. I do, Rosa whispered. From the hospital, you sang to me, the girl said. Everyone else was cruel. You weren't. A pause. I thought you died. Rosa said, I almost did. Who saved you? The girl didn't answer. Instead she looked down the pier. Your son is safe, for now, but he's not the only one they want. They're cleaning house. Anyone who knows the past, they're erasing it, one by one. Why? Rosa cried. The girl stepped closer. Because someone is building an empire, one that can't survive the truth. Rosa's voice broke. Who? The girl met her eyes. The same man who sent you the note. The man in the navy suit. Who is he? She paused, then whispered. Clarissa's brother. Rosa's breath hitched. Clarissa had no siblings. She said she was alone. The girl gave a bitter smile. She lied. He stayed in the shadows, pulling the strings. He let her raise me, until she had a chance to take the Vance fortune for herself. Then he made her switch the babies, put me in hiding, faked Elijah's death. Rosa's legs nearly gave out. Then, Nico is, not Elijah, the girl said. But still, a Vance. Lightning cracked across the sky, and then, a gunshot rang out. The girl's shoulder jerked back. Blood bloomed across her coat. She fell. Rosa screamed. Leonardo bolted from the car, but 2 men were already running toward her. Not police, not security, clean suits, gloves, and something colder in their eyes than death. Rosa dropped to her knees beside the girl. The girl choked. Don't let them take him. Who? Rosa sobbed. Your son, she whispered, and mine. And then her eyes closed, but her hand remained on Rosa's, tight, too tight, because something was hidden in it. Rosa pried it open, a key, with a number etched in gold, box 43, Vance Tower. Behind them, the footsteps grew louder, the hunters had arrived, and Rosa had seconds to decide, run, or burn with the truth. Rosa ran. There was no time to think, only instinct, only the pounding of her heart as it screamed for her to move, to flee, to survive. She bolted down the pier, the girl's blood still warm on her hands, the golden key clenched tight in her palm like a fragment of truth not yet destroyed. Behind her, the footsteps accelerated, heavy boots striking wood, echoing across the dark bay like war drums. Leonardo met her at the corner of the warehouse. They didn't speak, he just grabbed her hand and pulled. The SUV roared to life as bullets tore through the shadows, shattering a nearby crate. Rosa ducked instinctively, her breath coming in sobs. Leonardo swerved hard, tires screaming as the car fishtailed and sped out of the lot. A black van followed. No plates, no markings, just relentless pursuit. They killed her, Rosa cried, her voice ragged with grief and fury. She was trying to help us, and we're not letting her die for nothing. Leonardo growled. Hold on. The SUV careened down the industrial backroads, weaving through alleys and loading docks until, finally, the van disappeared in the rearview mirror. For now, only then did Leonardo speak again. You got something from her? Rosa opened her hand. The key gleamed in the faint glow of the dashboard light. Box 43, Vance Tower. Leonardo's jaw tightened. That's the executive vault. Top floor. No one but family has access. Then how? Clarissa had clearance, which means whoever that girl was. His voice trailed off. She had the truth, and she died to pass it on. They drove in silence for several minutes. The city loomed ahead, slick with rain, lights blurred by mist. Are you sure we can trust anyone? Rosa asked quietly. If Clarissa's brother is behind this, Leonardo's voice was like steel, then we go above him, straight to the truth. No more secrets, no more shadows. Vance Tower was a fortress of glass and steel, glowing like a beacon in the night. But inside it was quiet, too quiet. Leonardo's keycard got them into the private elevator. Rosa gripped the golden key, her hand clammy with sweat. Floor after floor ticked by until the numbers glowed 47. The doors slid open to reveal a long hallway, silent, immaculate. The air itself seemed to hum with money and power. At the end of the corridor, a vault door. Leonardo pressed his thumb to the scanner, a soft chime. The red light turned green. Inside the vault, security boxes lined the walls like tombs. Rosa stepped in, heart thudding. Box 43 was near the center, smaller than she imagined, but something about it felt heavier than stone. She inserted the key. The lock clicked. Inside, not money, not jewels, documents, photos, a flash drive, and a small cloth-bound diary. Rosa opened it carefully, her breath catching as the pages fluttered. It was Clarissa's handwriting. June 3rd, I couldn't go through with it. The baby was dying. She begged me, please, take her, give her a name, let her live. I thought I was saving her, but I didn't know what my brother had planned. Rosa flipped to another page. July 29th. He said if I gave him access to the Vance accounts, he'd protect us both. I believed him. I always believed him, until he took the boy. Rosa's hand trembled. Took the boy. Leonardo leaned over her shoulder. September 1st. Rosa is stronger than she knows. I see her, watching over the child like he's her own. Maybe he is now. Maybe I never had a right to call him mine. But if anyone finds this, protect them both. My brother will stop at nothing. The girl is the key, but the boy is the heir. Rosa gasped. Leonardo's mouth parted. Then Nico is your son, Rosa whispered. He was switched again. Not once, twice. Clarissa tried to undo it, but her brother took him, hid him, planted him in the system, until he landed in your arms. Leonardo said, By fate, or by guilt, a beat passed. Then Rosa opened the flash drive. A single video. Clarissa again, pallid, thinner, eyes glassy with fear. If you're watching this, I'm probably gone. I failed to protect the children. Both of them. My brother's planning something. He's using Vance resources to erase the bloodline, control the company, and cover up the past. He killed the girl's real mother, and he'll kill again. Rosa, if you're hearing this, trust no one but Leonardo, and run. Rosa's body shook. She stared at the screen, horror and heartbreak colliding in her chest. Leonardo reached for her hand, but just then, the lights in the vault flickered. A voice came over the intercom. Calm, cold, controlled. You found the truth, it said. Leonardo's eyes narrowed. Show yourself. Gladly, the voice replied. And then the vault door slammed shut. Gas, white and hissing, poured from the ceiling vents. Rosa screamed. Leonardo lunged for the emergency override, but the keypad sizzled. Fried from the inside. A trap. This had been a trap all along. They stumbled back, coughing, eyes watering. Rosa, Leonardo yelled, pulling her coat over her face. The diary, the drive, protect them. But Rosa didn't move, because her vision was fading. And in the fog of the gas, she saw something impossible. A shadow, a tall man, standing just outside the glass window of the vault, staring in, smiling. It was the man from the pit. Clarissa's brother. The puppet master. The architect of their pain. He lifted a hand, and waved, then turned, and walked away. Rosa collapsed to her knees. The drive slipped from her fingers. Darkness closed in, but just before her eyes shut completely, she felt Leonardo's arms around her. His voice, rough and choked. Don't go. Please, Rosa. Stay with me. And then, nothing. Just silence. Until a small bright beep echoed in the corner of the vault. A green light blinking on the diary's final page. Hidden inside the spine. A second drive. One Clarissa never mentioned. The final truth, still waiting to be seen. The air was thick. Heavy. Rosa's lungs screamed. Her ears rang with pressure. The gas tightening around her like a cruel grip from the inside out. Somewhere through the haze, she could still feel Leonardo's arms around her, the way he clutched her as if sheer willpower could anchor her to the earth. But even that was slipping. The world went dim, sound warped. The vault, once pristine, clinical, now felt like a coffin. And yet, a flicker of light, faint, small. The green glow on the diary's spine pulsed gently in the dark. It was so subtle, it could have been mistaken for a glitch. But Rosa's blurred gaze fixated on it, even as consciousness slid from her grasp. The second drive, hidden, buried within Clarissa's journal like a seed in winter soil, waiting for the right moment to bloom. Rosa collapsed fully, her body giving out, but her fingers, they moved, trembled, crawled across the smooth floor until they found the hidden compartment. The latch snapped, the small drive clicked free, then everything faded. Darkness stretched on, not like sleep, but like drowning, endless, cold and silent, until a voice pierced through, her pulses stabilizing. She's coming back. Then another, get that oxygen on her now, and prep him too. We don't know how long they were exposed. Blinding light cracked Rosa's eyelids open. She winced. Machines beeped softly. The antiseptic smell of a hospital flooded her senses, but not the public kind. This was different, quieter, more guarded, and Leonardo was beside her, awake, holding her hand. When she turned to him, his face crumpled with relief. You scared me. You scare easy, she rasped, her throat raw. He gave a wet laugh. Only when you stop breathing. She looked around. Where are we? A private clinic. One of the board members, someone Clarissa once trusted, intercepted the vault's gas alarm. They pulled us out. Clarissa, Rosa's voice caught. She knew even in death how far her brother would go. Leonardo nodded. They found the flash drives. Both of them. Rosa's hand shot to her side. Did they see what was on the second one? No. His grip tightened. I waited. For you, she swallowed thickly. Then let's watch it. A few hours later, in a room lined with security and silence, The second flash drive was inserted into a guarded terminal. No interface, no logo, just a video, grainy, but unmistakable. Clarissa again, this time even younger, her voice more hopeful, trembling with conviction. If you're watching this, you've gone further than I ever dared. I don't know your face, but I know your courage. You've uncovered the lies, but here's the truth. She leaned in, her expression trembling with pain and urgency. My brother, Adam Vance, is not just manipulating the company. He's rewriting our bloodline. Decades ago, he discovered something terrifying. A genetic mutation traced back generations, tied to power, influence, even charisma. The Vance family had it, but only some. She paused, and only if passed through certain bloodlines. Rosa and Leonardo froze. Clarissa continued, eyes rimmed with tears. My daughter, the girl Rosa saw, she was born with it, and so was the boy, but not the one they kept in the house. The one they hid. My brother needed both to secure control of the Vance legacy. Not for money, for continuity, influence, something darker. Rosa's hand covered her mouth. Leonardo leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Clarissa's voice cracked. They experimented on her, on my girl, monitored how the gene affected her brain, her behavior. She was supposed to die before the truth came out, but she didn't. She survived, escaped. A pause. I tried to switch the babies back. I failed. I tried to leave breadcrumbs. I failed again. I'm so sorry, Rosa. You were never supposed to be in this. Then her voice dropped to a whisper. But you were the only one who ever loved either of them like a mother. The screen blinked. The file opened. Documents, research logs, code names, Project Hereditas, photos of the girl, as a child, hooked to wires, photos of the boy, Nico, labeled Subject E,
living under Rosa's care.
Then footage, surveillance of the lab, the girl's escape, the fire, the scream of a mother's voice echoing in the dark. Run, baby, run. Clarissa's last words were barely a whisper. If this ends with me, let it start with you. Rosa, don't just protect them. Expose him. Then black. The silence that followed was unbearable. Rosa turned away, tears falling freely now. She carried this alone for so long. She gave everything to save them. And in the end, she left the truth in our hands. Leonardo said gently. And we're not done yet. By morning, everything had changed. Armed with the drives, the diary, and the blood reports hidden in the box, Leonardo and Rosa stood before the Vance board. Adam Vance sat at the head, smug, still in his navy suit. But when the files were played, when Clarissa's voice echoed through the room, his face drained of color. Board members gasped. One dropped their pen, another stood. Is this real? They demanded. Leonardo turned. It's real, and it's over. Adam lunged. Security was faster. He was taken, screaming. They'll never believe you. You're just a maid. A maid. Rosa stepped forward, head high. No, she said. I'm a mother, and I remember everything. 2 weeks later, Nico was home, safe, playing on the carpet with his elephant again. The city was quieter now. The Vance name was under public scrutiny. Investigations were underway. Truth had teeth, and it had finally bitten back. Rosa stood at the window, staring out at the rain. Leonardo stepped beside her, holding 2 mugs of coffee. Still can't sleep? He asked softly. She shook her head. Too many ghosts. But at least now, he said, they're at rest. She looked at him, really looked at him. The man who once saw her as a maid. Now, the man who had risked his life for her son, for their truth. You stayed, she whispered. I always would have. And then, she leaned into him, not because she was weak, but because she didn't have to be strong alone anymore. Outside, the wind shifted. A letter arrived at the front door that afternoon. One marked.
Inside, a photograph.
Little girl, maybe 6, holding a toy rabbit, eyes the color of storms. On the back, in tiny handwriting, she lives, she's waiting. Comment Part 4. If you want to know what happens when Rosa faces the child who remembers every lullaby and every betrayal,